So this is that I want to get into today to show you guys how to inspect your hive properly since it's fall. We've talked about Abavar, treating with Abavar. We've talked about evaluating your queen. One of the most important tasks to completing a fall hive inspection is to inspect your hive properly. I want to share with you some techniques, some things that I've learned, through the past 7 years of my beekeeping journey that I want to share with you guys today. I think it'll be very, very important for you guys to know these tasks, these tips and tricks. It'll help you guys out a lot. All right, first what we got to do to complete our hive inspection, I just got stung right on the arm, or my little fingers there. And we got to move these little Abavar strips. I did a video about Abavar, and we got to move these out of the way. Put them right here. So let's talk about the first thing. It's very basic, very stuff that you guys probably already know, but we gotta first start out with frame manipulation. I have a video on frame manipulation, but I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys all over again. So you see, we got all our frames, 5 frames, 10 frames, doesn't matter what you're inspecting them, kind of goes the same for all. So these 2 frames, what are on these frames? Well, brood. I know that because I've inspected a hive, but that's basic. That's what always happens. You got 2 frames of brood. This frame may have brood on it. Depends on how far the bees have expanded. But this frame right here probably most likely does not have the queen on it. So this is a J-hook hive tool, by the way. We're going to lift up the frame. This is how you properly do it. Easily. And you always want to work the bees in slow motion. That's what I've always done. Try to do it as slow as I can if you want to keep them as calm as you can. That's another small tip for you guys. And the queen most likely will not be on this frame, mostly because this frame does not have anywhere for the queen to lay, so therefore the queen has no need to be on this frame. But we got pollen, nectar, we have some of the vital sources that we have to have to go into winter. Pollen is very good to stimulate the queen to lay eggs and make brood, which make bees of winter physiology. That's very important up north and down south. And like I said, you want to pull the first frame from the wall that will most likely not have the queen. I'm not saying that every time it won't have the queen on it, but most likely it will not have the queen. So pull it out, set it to the side, and then you can start doing your other work. What is the other work you gotta do? Manipulating frames, inspecting frames, pulling up frames. The reason why we're doing this is to not kill the queen. It's very important not to kill the queen, especially in fall. Right now in fall, there's not really any drones out. Bees are kicking drones out as we speak, up north and down south. So it's very important for us to try to not kill our queen and try to protect the queen as far as we possibly can. So what I did was I took my J-hook hive tool. This is why J-hook hive tools are very beneficial to us beekeepers, is we'll take these hive tools, the end, and slide it out of the way. It's easier because a lot of propolis is right here. Propolis is basically bee glue. Bee glue is what I call it, but its official name is propolis, and that's what it basically is. Then what you can do is you can pull your frame up nice and slow. Alright, nice and slow. Lift it up. And you know what we can do, if you guys have patience, you have to have patience in beekeeping, because beekeeping is very, you have to be patient on some things. Hover it over the hive for just a couple seconds to make sure any loose bees won't accidentally fall on the ground. They will fall back into your beehive or whatever hive you're inspecting, and this is a nuke. Alright, there we go. Now we can hover it over anywhere we want to, and the bees won't fall off. They have a good grip on the frame. Now it's beneficial for us beekeepers to know what all this stuff is that we're seeing here. So let me point out to some of the stuff that we're seeing. We're seeing brood, and you see there's our queen. We have pearly white larva. Pearly white larva, I'm looking at the pearly white larva, and that is a sign that the larva is nice and healthy. Now remember that. pearly white larva is a sign that the larva is healthy larva. Very good larva. We have our queen. See, she's on the top there, and the queen has a longer abdomen, and that's how you can tell her from the other bees. A lot of times people have trouble defining a worker, drone, and a queen. You see the workers? They are all over the frames. Let me get my half tool here to show y'all. Look at there. Worker, worker, worker. All these are workers. And I already lost the queen, except for that bee right here. See that bee right here? That bee right there on the top there? See the one with the longer abdomen? That is a queen. And you can mark the queens to know where they are at. But you got to be real careful. Like I said earlier, not to roll the queen. Rolling the queen is maybe you are... I'm not going to do it here because I'm not going to risk it. But it's like colliding two frames together and it's rolling back and forth. And whenever you're lifting queen up, most likely you are rolling bees. It ain't, it ain't terrible for the bees. It may injure them. But the reason why we don't do it is particularly we don't want the queen to get rolled and injure her or potentially kill her. That's very important. See, we have brood that's hatching. We got brood that they are capping off. And on the top, we got our queen. I don't know what she's doing up there. Other side, we got a beautiful brood pattern. You got to take a look at that brood pattern. It's good. Very good. And in the middle, we got eggs. So those cells that are open that you see, those are eggs or cells that the bees, the baby bees, the pupae have already pupaed into a baby bee and they hatched out. But now the queen went back and laid, and some of these other cells are hatching as we speak. So basic bee biology is very beneficial for us beekeepers to know bee biology. So if you're a beginner beekeeper, this hopefully will help you out. I've talked a lot about basic biology, but that's one of it. So then whenever you put your frame back down, you can take your frame and gently set it off to the side. Queen, safe and sound. We don't got to worry about her. Remember, she's on the frame closest to the wall. We got to make sure we don't roll this frame. We can't put this frame and put it right here. We're going to put it back in order that we found it in, all right? So we're going to now move this frame, slide it over. You just take your little half tool, move it over. There you go. But move your half tool all the way. You need two hands. Don't try to lift it up with one hand. The reason why this can be bad is if you're lifting up a frame that has a queen on it and you drop it, bees are mad and you may accidentally drop the queen on the ground and you lose her. And that can be very bad if your, queen's wings are clipped. So just, make sure you have two hands on your frame, lift it up nice and slow, hover it over the hive for a second, make sure no loose bees fall off. All the bees are nice and tight and we can do whatever we want to. We can inspect it. We can observe the bees on what they're doing. Now, let's look on the frames. All right. We got brood. All right. There you go. We got brood. That's a good sign. We got our queen laying. Winter bees of physiology. That's very important this time of year. We got bees on the top. Beautiful bees. That is a very beautiful brood pattern, I must say. And we got, let's see if I can show you guys. We got a little bit of pollen right on the top here. Pollen. Look at this little baby bee. There's a little baby bee. And the baby bees will usually just look very younger. They look like kind of, I don't know what you kind of call it. It's really hard. I gotta show you guys. See that baby bee right there? The baby bee that just kind of looks younger. That's very interesting. And those are bees that just hatched out. And what the baby bees do when they hatch out of the cell is they'll clean the cell that they hatch out of and go clean other cells. And, then they get tasks in their job to feed larvae, clean, other cells, to store honey, to then, foragers. I'm not saying it in, order. I'll make another video about bee biology once we get more into winter when I'm not very busy. But we got our brood. That's a very good brood pattern. Like I said, don't be alarmed about the brood pattern where it's kind of spotty there. Why is that, you may ask? It's really just because a lot of these bees already hatched. And the queen already went back and laid out there. So you'll find the queen in spots on the brood where bees are hatching, and she's relaying in both cells. She loves brood frames that are hatching. Then she can go back and lay back into the cell that already hatched, and it keeps on going like that. And right here, as you can see on the top there, I kind of smushed that down because there's a lot of beetles right there. Bees are fixing that a little bit, but overall, look at that, we're doing pretty good. All right, now what do we do that we are done with our hive inspection? So this frame does not have the queen. We're going to put it down very slowly back in the way that we found it. All right, very nice and steady. Try not to kill bees, because I try to avoid killing as many bees as I can. Now what I do, and a lot of people do it differently, but this is a way that does very work for my situation. I'll take this frame, slide it over, and what you can do is lift the frame back up and see where your queen is at. In my case, the queen is on this side. There's our queen walking around. So she's on my side. All right, I'm gonna take this frame, hover it over the hive. I gotta be careful, try to switch this frame around. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll do this, very easy. Have a good grip on it. All right, now our queen is on this side. You see her? She's right there. You take the frame, put it back in, so we know she's on this side. And we aren't rolling her. What we're going to do is we're just going to slide this frame back over here, nice and slowly. Make sure not to smash her between the frames. We got a good bee space right there. Now, what we can do is we can slide our other frame back in here. We know that queen's not in our way. And this nuke right here, the way we build our nukes is we leave a big enough gap. So when we put this frame in, look at there, enough room to put our frame back in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to easily put this frame back in to not disturb all the bees. And the bees are not really happy just because it's a little bit later in the day. Now, our queen is safe. This is what you do whenever you're trying to keep your queen from being smashed or rolled. Be careful when you put your abavar strips in, because you can do the same with the abavar strips and roll the queen. I know she was on this side, so I'm going to put this right over here. And be really careful though. You know what, I don't really want to put it right there. I feel comfortable putting it right here for the time being. Alright. There you go. Now, that's how you make a good hive inspection. I might have missed something that I should have pointed out, but that's basic frame manipulation. And that's how you do it.